Hello and welcome to my channel. Please apologise for my voice. Supposedly these tablets I'm on, so it just keeps going and coming and going. It's very, very annoying, but it doesn't hurt. I just sound like I'm a bit husky. Not the dog, the voice, obviously. Anyway, welcome to my channel where I talk about books and bookish things. And this is my June wrap-up. Probably, hopefully. So majority of them, I read 15 books in June, which is quite low for me, but I seem to be reading less. But what I'm reading, I'm really enjoying, which is really good. 11 of them were on Kindle. I had quite a lot of ARCs that month in June, so majority of them were on Kindle. I've only got 4 actual physical books. What's that poking out of there then? Oh yeah, interesting. Any road. So let's get going, shall we? Hope you're all right, by the way, my darlings. I'm sorry this is a bit late. It's nearly the end of July probably by the time I get this out, but anyway, it is what it is, right? I finally retired, thankfully. Let me just have a little drink, see if that helps. Officially retired on the 21st of July. And this might go out before or after that, I'm not sure. Currently I'm working my notice, working my holiday. I actually finished on the 1st of July. So it's bittersweet. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm in a very privileged position that I don't have to work. But I'd much rather have my husband here and be working. So you take insurance out for this kind of thing, but you never expect it's going to happen, do you? But so I'm in a very privileged position. So now it's time to start looking after myself, get my health right, lose a bit of weight, hopefully, because, you know, sort out my tummy, because that's a problem, and, you know, get myself into a routine and find out what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. I don't know. I don't know. I've started plotting out, did that on Amy's Sprint the other Sunday, last Sunday, this Sunday, oh, I don't know what I'm on. Plotted out my series of books that I'm going to write, which are going to be probably middle grade or early YA. It's an adventure series, so I'm looking forward to that. So set up what used to be my office now as a writing room, and I'll probably do most of my lives up there for YouTube. So yeah, so it's all set up, ready to go. Just got to sort the rest of it out because it's a craft room come ritual space, because obviously I'm a witch, and but my sister's coming down in a while, and she is going to have a lot of my craft stuff, because frankly, if I'm honest, I couldn't possibly use it all in my own lifetime. And I don't do it so much now, and she loves it, so we're going to sort it out. She's going to go away with a lot so that I can sort out the room properly. But anyway, hope you can hear me okay, because I've got the fan on, and it's a bit warm. It's getting a bit warm. It has been for a while now, so we'll see how we go. But anyway, so the first book I read, and this are in no particular order because I can never remember which one I read first, if I'm honest. But what happens is I usually have 2 or 3 books on the go. I usually have an anthology I'll be reading alongside a novel, and then another book which I have on my Kindle upstairs in my bedroom, which I read at night. So the ones I read on my Kindle upstairs was this one, Fathomless Riches by Reverend, what's his name? Richard Cole. Of course, used to be in the Communards. I believe this is his first kind of memoir, and this is from when he's a child and his time in the Communards and the excesses of that, and then his realization that he was called to ministry. It kind of ends where he's taken his first pastorship or reverendship or whatever it's called, in a little village, and it's really good. He's obviously a highly intelligent man, and this was a great memoir, very, very interesting, especially the stuff about the seminary, because obviously I don't really know a lot about the Church of England, which he's part of, or was. I think he's retired now, and so it was interesting to see the training that goes into that. I had no idea it was so long, or whether everybody has to do that, I don't know. But it was fascinating nonetheless. Let me just adjust you a little bit. There you go, my dears. Oh, you're all looking beautiful, by the way. So that one, yeah, that was my one of them. I also reread Cottonmouth by Keelan Patrick Burke because it came out this month. It's actually a novella that is at the end of the special edition of Kin that I have, which I bought from Suntop Editions. So I've already read it, but I read it again, bought it on Kindle, read it again. It's brilliant. If you've ever read Kin by Keelan Patrick Burke, and frankly, if you haven't, why not? Because it's fantastic. If you're a horror person, oh my, it's one of my top 3 books. It's just incredible. So because this was coming out as an individual, away from the special edition, I reread Kin, which I haven't put on this list because it's a reread. I don't have them. And now I read this one, which is a prequel to Cottonmouth. There's a character in Cottonmouth called Popper in Grey, and this is his origin story. It's brilliant, deeply, darkly disturbing, as all Keelan's books are. They riddle in your brain, and you know sometimes you use bleach to sort out your brain after, but exceptional. And this is an exceptional story. I've actually ordered a special edition of his new one that comes out in October that's being released. The Widows of Something Gale. I can't remember what it's called now, but it looks fantastic. It's like a sea horror, an ocean horror. You don't get many of them, and I love that. So I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, that was brilliant. I've got my little list because obviously I haven't got the books in front of me. But the next one I read, this was one I read upstairs when I was asleep. Well, I wasn't sleeping before I went to bed. The Ministry of Time by Kayleen Bradley. Now, this was a weird one. I bought this as a 99p Kindle deal. Just because I like the sound of it. And it's basically about this shady agency in the UK government that uses, I'm assuming it's stolen, I think it's stolen technology, to time travel to various points in history and pull out famous people or well-known people or real people in history just before they died, so it doesn't affect the timeline, bring them to the future, and then they put them in a house environment with what they call a bridge, which is a modern person who bridges them into, current life. And this basically is based on an explorer, a Victorian explorer they rescue just before he died, and all of his crew died because they got trapped in the Arctic, was it, or the Antarctic, one of them. And he's bridged by this woman who's a child of refugees, and it's kind of a love story, and but it's done very subtly. And the interesting stuff about this is kind of part sci-fi, part kind of historical fiction, part kind of mystery, because why are they doing this? It was brilliant and unlike anything I'd ever read before, and fascinating. So I'll be interested to see what she does next, because that was really good. The next one I read was the Fovea Experiments by MJ Mars. I was lucky enough to get an arc of this from MJ, who's one of my gorgeous indie author friends. I've got a few of them on the list. The fovea is the tiny aperture in your eye that when you close your eyes, you can see shapes and sometimes images. You know what I mean? It's called the fovea centralis. It's in the eye. And this is about a sleep experiment that went wrong many years ago with a group of people. They all died except one. And this YouTuber decides that this one person must have killed the others because nobody's taking responsibility. And then the professor who was running that, his daughter decides to do it again. And there's something behind the eyes that needs not to be focused on. It's kind of occult. It's creepy. It'll make you worry about closing your eyes and seeing anything. It's absolutely fantastic. I love MJ's writing. I'm a huge fan of The Suffering, my boy Poe. She's doing a sequel to that. I can't wait for that. And it's just exceptional. She's an exceptional writer, so go and check this out, my friends. Brilliant, fantastic cover too, isn't it? The next one, another lovely indie author friend called Rob Ulitski, who's the master of body horror. He's brilliant. He's writing a 6-part series over the next 6 months. That is his take on zombies. I'm on his ARC team, on his street team, and I read the first one in June, which came out at the end of June, called Dead Awake Collapse, and it's about this little town called Egglemore, and people start, when they get something happens, and then they go to sleep, and when they wake up, they're zombies, and they are vicious and violent. And so everybody who gets bitten has to try and stay awake, otherwise they become zombified. And it's basically about how this town gets locked down. And because they're trying to, isolate the infection, in this book you don't know where it comes from. In subsequent books you will find out where it's come from. And it follows, I think there's 6 people in this first one. 2, 3, 4, I think it's 6, and each chapter is from their perspective as they try and navigate the madness that descends not only from the zombies, who obviously are vicious and violent and want to kill people, but also how other humans react in that situation when everything is stripped away from them humanity wise. It's absolutely brilliant. It's such a different take on the zombie trope. I'm not keen on this keeps moving, I'm mad. Not particularly keen on the zombie trope. It's not something I would normally read, but I'm really enjoying this because I really enjoy Rob's writing, and I love his dialogue. Is just incredible. The body horror and the gore is next level. It's just brilliant. I can't wait for the next one. I've actually just read the second one because obviously it's July now, and it just continues to be spectacular. So yeah, this is available now, the first one, and you haven't got to wait long. There's one released every month for the next 6 months: June, July, August, September, October, November. So it ends in November. So hell of an undertaking for him. Such a nice bloke. Can't wait to meet him at Met Western, as I can't wait to see MJ again either. And then we've got Storyland by Amy Jeffs. This was another 99p Kindle, and this is about the legends and myths of the UK and Ireland, as far as I remember. I'm sure it's all of the British Isles, and it kind of takes the myths and legends of those places, and then creates a kind of a fictional dialogue around it. It's absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed it. This is another one that I read before I go to sleep. So I usually average about 3 or 4 in the month that I do while I'm just before I go to sleep. It was really, really well written, really interesting. I really enjoyed it. It was fun. I probably won't read it again, but it was fun. The next arc I read was this one, Air Conditioned Nightmare by David K. Slater. This isn't out until 30th September, but David obviously sent me an arc for this. He's another lovely indie author who I get to meet at Western. And this is kind of, this is like a fever dream. It's about this man who he lives on his own in this mouldy, horrible flat with a wardrobe that knocks at him. It's kind of a twist on the haunted house trope, and he also, he lives and works, and he hates his job, and it's that kind of monotony of, the human condition, going to work, coming home, feeding the cat, which he keeps forgetting to do, and it's actually a hell of a twist at the end when you find out what's actually going on. But it's basically a haunted house trope done with a twist. It's absolutely great. Brilliant. It's only a novella, and that'll be out on the 30th of September. Next we have Do Mort by Michelle Town. This comes out on the 22nd of July, which might be after this comes out. And this again was an arc sent to me, I think it was sent to me by Orchid Press, who I'm on their arc team. I never read anything by this author before. This was a Gothic Victorian mystery. So it's about this town where you're not allowed to be psychic. You're not allowed to talk to the dead. It's considered a crime, and you'll be killed for it. And there's this woman who goes to a world famous occultist to try and get in touch with someone. And it all goes a bit pear-shaped. It's very, very interesting. It's deeply, deeply Gothic, Victoriana Gothic. It's like a gaslight mystery. It's brilliant. Really enjoyed it. As I say, that comes out on the 22nd of July. Have another little drink. Oh, wear it. Have a little drink. It doesn't hurt. It's just very annoying. The next one. Again, this was an arc, although this is out now. Came out the end of June. The Dirt in Which We Are Buried by Robert Weaver. I love Robert's book. He's also a fantastic Gothic writer. He has a way of taking something and making it so insidious, and it kind of wriggles in your brain, and you think, you read it and you think, oh God, that was good, and then you find yourself thinking about it a couple of days later because it's like, oh, hang on. These are short stories. I think there's 6 or 7 in there, and they're all stories about the dirt, about the earth. They're all incredibly creepy. My favourite one, I can't remember what it was called now, sadly, but it was the one where the land has a blood contract. It was sensational. I love his work. I love his stuff. It is eerie and creepy and just feels kind of like something's wrong, something's off. He takes what is a normal situation and makes it surreal. He's kind of like Dali in that respect, you know what I mean? Taking an image and just melting it in something else is remarkable. Really loved that. Next, another arc, Good for Her anthology. This is an anthology of the best UK indie women writers, and it's all about revenge and female rage. It's edited by Sarah Jules, who's a fantastic indie author, and also by T.C. Parker and Shauna McElhenry. Sorry, Shauna, I butchered your name. Who are Nefarious Bat Press, and it's printed through Nefarious Bat Press, which are an indie publisher. And this is sensational, brilliant stories. My favourite is the first one, which is by M.J. Mars, which is called Patient, and it is a twist on the pregnancy trope that is just mind-blowing. It's so good. It's so good. You just get to the end of it and you're just like, oh yeah, I enjoyed that. Do you know what I mean? Every one of these is juicy and just a little bit of women getting their own back a little bit, you know? So yeah, really enjoyed it. Excellent. That's out now to read. And the last arc, like I said, I had a few, was A Fear Machine by Patrick McNulty. I love Patrick's writing. I love this series, which is Monster Mayhem. I've read all of them as an arc. Absolutely love them. And this one is a short novella. The others were novels. This is a novella. It's out on the 1st of August. And it's about this boy, basically, a young lad. And he can't seem to do anything right, you know. But every day he cuts through an empty lot on his way back from school. And one day he tries to cut through and there's a house there that wasn't there the day before. And a couple of days previously, he'd thoughtlessly left his bike outside of a shop and it got stolen. And he sees the bike inside the house. So he goes in and the house is not what he expects or what any of us expect. It's a proper creepy little, this is a perfect spooky season read. It's about a hungry house, basically, and it's absolutely brilliant. Really creepy, really spooky, perfect for Halloween. It's so good. And there's also the story about a girl in a similar situation. Do you know, the adults in this don't come across very well, and the children kind of pay for that. So it's really, really good. But yeah, so those were all my Kindles of June. And now we move on to the books. There's only 4 of them. The first one was the Point horror book. Oh, excuse me. The Fever. This was a weird one, really. It's about a girl who's got the flu and she's in in a hospital. She doesn't want to be there. She's miserable as hell. She's so negative, and she's surrounded by all these people. There's loads of characters in this. These crackers. Anyway, someone goes missing. Because she hears something when she's in a kind of delirious state. She hears something happening in her room and somebody asking for help. And everybody thinks she's imagined it. And so anyway, it's kind of a mystery thriller, horror. So yeah, but it was just a bit unusual. The hospital, for a start, probably would be closed down. And the main character, I can't remember her name. What's she called? Duffy. Oh, she's just annoying. She's so annoying. But yes, so that was the Tales Point Horror. I love these. I absolutely love my Point Horror family. And in June also we did a bonus, and I always join the live discussions for the bonus with the bonus book babes, and there's usually 3 or 4 of us, and we this time read Lois Duncan. We've done a couple of these now. This was the one we read this time, Daughters of Eve by Lois Duncan, and actually this is an updated copy that some of the names have been changed, and it's about a secret society in a school, and how what starts out as an empowerment of sisterhood turns into something much darker. This is still a controversial book to this day. I can't remember when it came out. I think it might have been in the 70s originally. Yes, 76, 79, sorry. And it falls pretty much split between being feminist and anti-feminist. Certainly the premise is feminist, but what happens is very anti-feminist. It's an interesting, we had a fascinating discussion about this on live on IG, also on Tales Point Horror Book Club, which is also on YouTube if you ever want to watch us. There was 4 of us who discussed this, and we could have talked for hours. It was a fascinating discourse on politics, sexual politics, female politics, and misogyny. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Really enjoyed it. Loved Lois Duncan's writing. I'm collecting all of her books. She's most well known for I Know What You Did Last Summer. She wrote that. Then next I'm absolutely loving Japanese and Korean fiction at the moment. Loving it, especially the horror, which is really really very dark and twisted. So I read this one, Goth by Hatsuchi, I think that's how it's pronounced. And this is about a girl called Marina who's fascinated by serial killers living in a town that is full of them. It's brilliant. Each chapter's like a mini story, and I absolutely loved this. I devoured this like in a day. There's another character who does the main narration. I don't think you ever find out who they are. They're just called a schoolmate, but she gets herself into a lot of situations where she seems to be a draw for serial killers. It's absolutely, as mad as it sounds, but somehow it works. I don't know, it's brilliant. There's also, you can find this film on YouTube. They made a film of it. I've just bought his collection of short stories called Zoo, which I'm reading at the moment. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant, gorgeous cover. I got this from the Hanamushi Cat bookshop. They specialise in new and second-hand Japanese and Korean fiction, Chinese fiction too, translated fiction. So yeah, brilliant, loved it. And finally, I got this one from Hanamushi as well, Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zorna. Michelle is most well known for being the lead singer of Japanese Breakfast, which is like a pop alternative band. They were actually at Glastonbury this year. Watched them, they were very good. And it's her memoir of growing up in a Korean household. It's very much like Butter in a lot of ways, where a lot of the stories surrounding food and the feeling the food gives you, the comfort it gives you within a home. But this is also mainly a story of her dealing with the death of her mother. And obviously I've lost my mum, I've recently lost my husband. It was a deeply touching book for me. It's beautifully written, it's enchanting to read, and it goes through her life and her history, and how she, how she had to live up to what her mother's expectations were of her as a Korean American child. It's everywhere, this book, and it should be. It is exceptional, and I absolutely loved it. It's one of my favourite memoirs I've ever read. So that's me. June wrapped. I hope you're all doing well, my darling. I hope you're reading fantastic books, and I hope you're all keeping well. And I'll see you on my next video. Bye.